All right. Once again, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the call. So we're going to talk about the CICA Superior Choice Final Expense product. I'm going to go over some of the pros and cons, and let's jump right into it. I'm going to ask Austin to come in a little bit. I want to go over some of the cons, some of the pros first. I'm going to share some of my opinion, and then I'm going to ask him for his opinion on how he uses it. Understand, every carrier, every product has its pros and cons. They're only going to advance you 6 months, but only on the bank draft. So they're going to take debit cards, direct express cards, all of them, but they're only going to pay you as earned. To me, that's actually not a con. That's actually the way it should be. Very few people are going to be able to do what Austin's been able to do. Austin, you're going to find out Austin here actually has one of the highest persistence levels in the country for agents, final expense agents that take debit cards. So with his debit card clients, his persistence is through the roof. And we're going to talk about why that is. So it's a little bit different. Got to get that first payment from the client within 28 days of approval. You got to do it. Now, if it doesn't happen, there is a way to do it like a reissue thing for the second month. I don't know the process, but at least there is a way. So save yourself trouble. Try to make sure, when you apply for the insurance, just make sure that draft date for the first draft is within 28 days. No renewals. This is one reason why you don't want to lead with this product. And this is another one. The rates are really not super competitive, but they are for some of the crazy stuff we're going to talk about, which is kind of mind-blowing. All right. They got 3 riders, which comes with it. Very nice. Your typical terminal illness, your typical accidental death benefit, which doesn't come with most carriers it doesn't come with, but it does with this one. They've got a dismemberment policy that comes with it. So that's a pretty nice rider. And there's specifics, guys. I'm not going to get into the benefits, these additional riders and the benefits of them right now, but do your research, do your due diligence. You'll see that it's pretty nice additional sales points. When you go to lock in that sale, it's nice that you can actually talk about these 3 riders that do come with it. This you got to dig. There's no build chart. They don't care how big or skinny or short or tall. They don't ask about that. Part of the reason why their rates are not so competitive is they're like almost, I want to say like almost tobacco rates, but they're not quite. They're actually not. They don't ask about tobacco usage. There's no question on that. And with their level product comes a GI product that will insure anybody from 0 to 85 years old. Guys, we finally got a product that will insure people that are under 40 years old for guaranteed issue. Very nice that we have that. Okay. You're going to be able to give level coverage for people that would normally be a knockout or guaranteed issue. Real interesting stuff we're going to talk about here. There's no chargeback after 6 months. Yeah, I know. It's kind of a common sense thing. As far as if the client passes away in the first year or 2, I got to tell you, I am not sure what the chargeback deal is on that. From what I understand, after 6 months, if the client passes away, there is no chargeback. That's from what I understand. If I'm wrong, let me know. Please get back to me, email me, text me, what have you. But I'm pretty sure that's how it is. From the research I did, I went, just an FYI, guys, they made this big game-changing change that I'm going to talk about here in a minute last month. And that's when I started doing the research. So over the past couple of days, I've really been digging into the product, into the agent manual. And so I'm pretty sure after 6 months, the client passes away, you're not getting any chargeback. All right. And they do pay commission. I feel like they changed this. It may be Thursday now. This was the original deal. They paid on Fridays. I feel like for some reason, I'm getting commissions on Thursdays and Fridays sometimes. So it's kind of weird. All right. Health conditions. Let's talk about it. Look, guys, yeah, your eyes are right. Let me start with the big stuff. Congestive heart failure. Standard level coverage, first day coverage. This is a knockout with most carriers. They don't want nothing to do with it. These guys, they're going to give you level coverage for your client. COPD, level coverage. Now, here's the key. COPD, you got a client with COPD who smokes. Boom. Now you got a really, now they went from being not so competitive to being like the most competitive priced product that's going to give first day coverage for people that have a breathing condition that's chronic. Guys, I'm going to give you an underwriting tip. This is something I went over with a new agent who unfortunately was dealing with a client yesterday on this. When the client has asthma and they have one prescription and they haven't been switched for multiple, this is the key. The doctor hasn't switched them off one prescript to another over the past year. If it's only one script, it is asthma. If there's two or more treatments, forget it. It is not regular basic asthma. It's a chronic breathing condition. Could be chronic asthma, could be COPD, could be a lot of different things, but it's chronic. That is life-changing. That means if they forget to leave their home with their emergency inhaler and they breathe in some dust, they could die. They could die without that thing. So understand, that's why I feel like we're lucky nowadays that we get level coverage for clients that have COPD. Diabetic coma. So you're not going to see a lot of this, but this is kind of weird. This is generally a knockout. Dialysis. I know when I first started selling final expense, that was a knockout everywhere. The only carrier I had back then was, oh man, I can't even remember the name of the carrier because we don't even use them. And it was a really expensive guaranteed issue, just a crap of a product. So the fact that you got someone who's on dialysis and you're giving them level coverage, what's wrong with these guys? That's just nuts. Heart attack. Okay. So the general heart attack rule is with most carriers, if they have a heart attack and then they may even go on a blood thinner, after 2 years of the event, the heart attack, they can usually get level coverage with a lot of carriers. With Citizens, it can be recent. It can be within 2 years. Again, not normal, game changer. Heart disease, first day coverage, not normal, completely different. Hepatitis C. Yeah, the bad one. Hepatitis C standard. I know. The rest of them are not. Let's see. Okay, now let me see. Here's the interesting one. Another one, organ transplant. Guys, this is the first time I've ever seen anybody who had an organ transplant over 5 years ago, you can actually give them level coverage. And I'm just going to say the thinking is if they've survived 5 years, that's kind of, that statistically is pretty awesome. So they're going ahead and saying, we'll insure you. Why not? Oxygen use. That's a knockout, right? Nope. Today, it is standard with this product. I did a little quote for you guys just to give you an idea, just to give you something cool. So here we've got a young, so this is the interesting part. We've got a 41-year-old female, $30,000 of coverage. She has, and look, these two go hand in hand, guys. She's got, let's say she, I don't know. I met a client years ago who never smoked and he had COPD really bad. He actually worked in one of the sugar mills here in Florida. And that's how he got it. I've met painters that had it. So people get it. So here you got this 41-year-old. She's got chronic breathing condition and she's got a bum ticker. She's got the congestive heart failure. We're giving her level coverage with this product. It's only $65 for $30,000. I mean, look, guys, it don't get better than that. That really is the key. So what is the big pro? Let me see. Oh, I didn't get on it. The one thing I didn't touch on, and I must have forgot to note on it before Austin comes on, is last month, they actually fixed their billing problem. They've had a billing problem. It looks like they really fixed it. They went from not having Social Security billing to actually having not just Social Security billing, but true Social Security billing, which means 12 months a year, they have the ability to draft the payment out of your client's bank account on the exact day that the money hits the account, if they're on Social Security, VA benefits, or disability. With that being said, Austin, are you on the call by any chance?
Yes.
Okay, good. I didn't see it earlier, but I was hoping you were on. So, any tips that you can think of, talking points that you'd like to go over on the Citizens CICA final expense product?
Yeah, I mean, lots of things. One thing I'll say is I did have two people pass away, but I was just looking, they both still show as active. So I'm not really sure about the chargebacks. Both of them were over 6 months, so I'll just see how that goes. If they charge me back, no big deal. It is what it is, but I'm not sure about that. The biggest thing with Citizens, like I've been writing since we first got them in October 2023. All the things that they do say that they accept as level day one coverage, it's been more challenging since August now that they're doing a little bit more underwriting to get everybody approved. Like it'll say they'll give you level coverage, but if somebody has 4 prescriptions for diabetes, then to them that means it's not under control. I always led with it when somebody gave me a few health conditions because I knew the application. The good thing about this application, it's a voice signature. It literally takes me like 4 minutes to read it. No text messages, no e-signs, and you know right away if they've been approved. So that's one of the benefits of CICA to me is I don't have to, wait around to find out. And for the most part, as long as they hadn't been hospitalized 2 or more times in the last 2 years, that was, kind of I know it's going to get approved thing.
So,
And as far as the commissions go, I mean, I know everybody wants as much money as they can, but at the end of the day, I'm pretty confident that everybody, if you get contracted with CICA, if you go on your toolkits and enable it so you can see the quotes, I'm very confident everyone is going to be able to write more policies and make more money. Plus, with GTL and AIG, you're getting almost double the commission. So, if a few policies fall off, you're still going to be making more money. I've only enrolled a couple people on the Social Security billing, so we'll just see how that goes. But again, when you look at the rates in comparison to other companies, you're going to sell more policies.
bingo. And guys, what he's talking about with the commission, when you go to write their GI product, it pays, and don't quote me on it, it's either 50% or 55. It's not high. So it may actually be 50%. So their GI isn't going to pay the best, but it's the only GI that we have, true GI that we have, that will guarantee to draft the client's payment. According to them, they fixed this. Now, I can hear it the way, Austin, the way you just said it. You're still not 100% sure that they are, proven to do true Social Security billing, which should have just started this past week.
For the GI products, it's not very competitive. If you have
Right,
somebody who's not eligible for like Gerber AIG, it's an option, but
right.
that's not really a competitive product. But for the standard product, you're getting, almost double the commission you would for GTL, those kinds of products. So
Right.
it's kind of a win-win. And you can sell the heck out of them saying, hey, this is literally the only company that you can get level coverage with. For the most part, it probably is. So, you know, take advantage of it. Don't take it for granted.
Let me play devil's advocate while you're on here. So Austin is very good at selling the clients, keeping them on the books, and his persistence has been excellent, and his placement too. So I'm going to play the devil advocate, and I'm going to tell you my opinion on that. I would rather charge a client 20% more and put them with a carrier that's going to do true Social Security billing than save them 20% and put them with Gerber or AIG, who will not draft the payment correctly every month. with these people, with our low income, income seniors, you need to draft that payment on the day they get the money, or you're going to have persistence issues. Now, that's the devil advocate. Now, with that being said, why don't you go ahead and explain what CICA has allowed you to do, the reason you've got such an amazing persistence with your clients that have debit cards or direct express cards?
Well, primarily it's making sure that when I do write a policy, it's a comfortable amount each month. I'm not selling the highest AP policies, but again, you sell somebody $100 a month policy and it cancels in 2 months, then we make $0. So I'd rather sell them $50 and keep it on the books. It's a win-win for everybody. I think the biggest thing also I love about CICA is we can manually process payments. If somebody's card expires or if their bank doesn't go through, I can just text them, hey, did you get a new card? They'll text me back. I don't have to do a three-way call like you do with SBLI. I don't have to send them a form. It just makes things so much easier. Can't tell you how many times I had a policy or get an email back on Saturday morning from SBLI that the payment didn't go through. And it's like, I can't do anything until Monday. And then I have to have the client on the phone. Good luck getting them on the phone again. And then the three-way call. Then they have to redraft it. It's, a process that you don't have to do with CICA, which
Very
has
nice.
enabled me to be able to, like I save everybody's payment information in my system. It's secure, and I draft the payment. If they tell me to wait and do 2 months the next month, I get it done, and it's been good. Like I was telling you the other day, Doug, I know I mentioned this to you before, but I was not going to be able to sell every policy I had with CICA with, GTL or Gerber. It was just not going to win as many policies. So
Right. But the key is that so what he didn't make clear is they allow you, if your client will give you permission to manually draft the payment each month, that's what he's been doing. So he basically got permission from all of his clients that have direct.
not everybody. Most people are
Okay.
on, but
Debit card.
the Wednesday thing I was doing, and some of the higher, like I have a couple people that, yeah, I have policies that are $130 a month. If they're on debit card before the Social Security billing, and then yes, I had notes in my phone. I was going in there and manually processing the payments because I don't want
Bingo.
those to lapse.
Bingo. And that's the one thing about CICA. They're the only carrier that will trust the agent to do that. And unfortunately, I've seen some shady stuff over the past 20 years, and not everybody should be trusted with that ability. So the fact that they do trust us with that is very nice, because you got a guy like Austin who probably has the best persistence that of any agent that they have. That's pretty much the bottom line, because of the ability to do that. Austin, thank you
They
very
did they
much.
did make it now where you have to check a box like, did they text you? Did they email you? Did they give you voice consent? I don't know what happens if
Okay.
there's too many
So they
bad.
did add a step. Okay. Which
Yeah.
is fine, because that's what I was leading to. So now you don't really have to do that. You don't have to be so concerned about that, because according to them, they're doing true Social Security billing. And the big fail with them that was like the heartbreaker was, you would go to you'd set up the client to draft on a Wednesday, let's say the next Wednesday, and you're 5, 6 days out, and they wouldn't even draft it until Thursday. It was like they just couldn't get that first draft straight, let alone did they have any type of Social Security billing. So now they're saying, hey, guys, not only do we have the first draft figured out, but every month we're going to draft that money as soon as your client gets it in their checking account on the same day. And if it's supposed to be on the third, and the third falls on a Saturday, and they get paid a day early, we're going to hit it a day early. So that's the beauty of it all. Good
They
stuff.
do the debit, they do the transactions usually early afternoon, like it's not 4 a.m.
Okay, so to me that's still a stinker. So thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah.
Hopefully they'll fix that. That's not good, because I mean I can tell you, I'll share a story with you guys. I remember sitting in a client's house and pulling up her bank statement, and she had overdraft fee, overdraft fee. She had like 5 in a row, and they were all at like 12:40, 12:45, like right before 1 a.m. And that's when Social Security pays these folks after 1 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And so she had all these overdraft fees because she sat there at an ATM machine trying to get the money, trying to get the money, trying to get the money. And then it wasn't deposited. So she actually got charged for those. And then finally, when the money went in, you could see that she got the money. So the point is, these folks are some of them are so barely getting by that they will do what she did. I asked her, I can't remember exactly the way the conversation went, but she actually was needing food. So she's there after midnight at the dang ATM machine waiting to pull money out so that she could or it was either ATM machine or at the bank so that she could go grab some groceries and go home and eat. This is why the true Social Security billing is important. It's unfortunate that they're drafting it in the afternoon. We're going to find out more about that because if that's the case, you're still going to have issues with this, guys, unfortunately. But now you've seen all the benefits. So you got a client who does have a bank account. You've got all these opportunities for level coverage that you normally don't have. And the one thing we didn't have before was you got a client under 40 years old that's a guaranteed issue client. Now you got a product for them. So is it competitive? Maybe not the price wise. You get a 30-year-old with, I don't know, with some major health issue that is not insurable. Guess what? Now you can insure them. Austin, thank you. I appreciate everything, buddy. Really do. Guys, that is it. If you need anything, just reach out. I hope you have an awesome day, a killer rest of your week. We will see you on the training call on Monday morning. Until then, happy hunting.